What is going on, guys? This is Jarse here, and today I am here because aren't you sick of all the negativity surrounding the A-League? No. There's a lot of just negativity around the A-League. In fact, I think there should be significantly more negativity around the A-League, considering for the last 3 years or 2.5 years, the APL and the FFA have pissed away Australian football fans' passion for the game for seemingly no reason most of the time, and it doesn't look like things are going to change that much for supporters over the coming year. So there is a lot of justifiably negative things to say about football in this country, but we're a few weeks away from the A-League starting up, and I thought that I'd do a positive vibes only A-League video because, as I said, while there's some bad things about the league, and there probably will be, terrible things happening throughout the league all year that we can complain about, I wanted to put together a video just talking about what's good this year and why, it's still going to be somewhat enjoyable. And, I'm not someone that looks for the positive stupidly, obviously. Like, I don't do that, but there are some positives. So let's just get into it. And the first thing I want to talk about is there are no more midweek matches. There should be no more rescheduling. There's a better, vaguely, TV rights deal. And at the moment, it seems like there's no excuses for fans besides extortionate ticket prices, of course, for, not supporting their team throughout this season. I mean, there is. There's not no excuses, but I feel like they're giving supporters at least less excuses to, not be passionate about the A-League. But the league has picked their dates and their times for the games this season, and pray to God they won't change. It's been a rough ride the last few years with fixtures changing on very short notice. So the fact that the league's come out, put out the entire schedule and said that they're going to stand behind it, and that's pretty much going to be when the games are played unless there's, extraordinary circumstances, is a really good thing. I'm absolutely sick of having to rebook away days and, not missing home games, but, home games being at ridiculous times where nobody can get to. So having everything set in place is good. That includes no more midweek games as well. I am kind of a fan of midweek games. I don't mind one here or there, but they were getting way too regular for any fan, like even me. Like, it was just getting ridiculous having to go out on a Wednesday to a shit stadium that I don't want to be at. There's no away fans there. There's hardly any home fans there. It's not something you want to be a part of. And it goes back to Australian football powers wasting the passion that fans have for teams and football because, these midweek games were just inaccessible for a lot of people. So it's good that they're getting rid of those. They've also got day trippable away days. This is something that I've been wanting for ages, is away days at like fucking 5 p.m, 3 p.m, and just reasonable times. I think I counted for Sydney FC, 5 of the 9 interstate or, relatively distant, away trips are day trippable. Of course, you've got like the Wanderers away game, Central Coast, Newcastle away. They're easy as fuck. But some of the ones where you got to hop on a plane, if you can get them booked with good notice, which the A-League have hopefully given, are very easy to do. They're going to be like coming in at under like $200 if you get a good flight deal. So they've made away games more accessible, at least for Sydney FC. I hope it's the case for other fans as well, because football needs away fans. Like, you can't, I hate A-League games when there's no away fans, when it's just a bunch of home fans. It sucks. It's boring. It's stupid. Like, think about when Sydney lost to Melbourne Victory 4-1 last year. That was like the darkest day of supporting Sydney FC because there were a ridiculous amount of Victory fans there out singing us. So, the A-League needs away fans, and the fact that they've made it significantly easier to get to these, interstate away games and get home earlier, save money and all of that is really good. They've also put more games on free-to-air, which I like. It's only one more game, but I feel like So, you have one game on free to air, you're going to see two teams play, then you're going to have to wait a whole nother week, and you might get the same team playing in the same time slot, so you're only going to get to see three teams over the space of 2 weeks if you can't afford, Paramount, which a lot of younger fans probably can't. So the fact that they're getting an extra game on free to air, I think is awesome. People have made out that, it's not going to be on Channel 10 anymore, but the people that want to go out and watch Australian football games will find 2 free-to-air games on television. It'll be easier for them to dip their toe in. It'll just be more accessible, right? You'll be able to see over the space of 2 weeks, if you've got 2 games, they're all different teams, you'll be able to potentially see 8 of the 12 teams in the league play over the space of 2 weeks. So that's going to be good. And if the A-League weren't a bunch of fucking retards trying to spread this keep-up shit, they could have some good highlights on YouTube as well. But that's obviously too hard for their $100 million social media war chest. So, yeah, no midweeks, no rescheduling, free to air, no excuses. I think that the scheduling and accessibility of matches this year is an absolute positive. Those were some of the points that I wanted to make. Actually, another one is that we're breaking for the World Cup. The men's competition is breaking for the World Cup, and the women's competition is starting up during. So while it's not my cup of tea, like pausing for international football, I'd much rather the A-League run through that Tim Pot shit. But it's probably good because there are obviously people that are interested in Australia for some reason. They feel some bullshit made up connection to the team. But yeah, I think it's good that, you give those people a couple of weeks to watch Australia in the group stages. And for the people that are more, supportive of their club, there's women's games on. I've looked at the schedule for Sydney vaguely, and I think there's a potential women's away day at some fucking random park somewhere. So I'm tempted to get hammered and go to that, because as I said, fuck international football club all the way. But yeah, I also like the break in the season for the World Cup. It gives people a few weeks off. Also, we got a month and a half of games. It'll give everyone a little taster. We'll get the World Cup hype, and then hopefully everyone can, be hype about the A-League for the rest of the year. But the scheduling, let's just keep it simple. The scheduling is a massive positive this season. Another positive, I think, this season are the home grounds. Take me home, country road. Shut up. I do think a lot of clubs have put themselves or have got themselves in a better situation with their home ground this season. And I'm very sorry to Perth fans because they're very much the outlier here. They're completely fucked. I think they still don't have a home ground. There's going to be work being done on HBF Park for the majority of the year. I don't think they're going to get back into it till March. So I apologize for this section because everyone else not everyone else, but a lot of other teams look to have, a decent home ground situation now. Adelaide have upgraded Cooper's Stadium, so they've got 2 covered stands on the side, which is just going to be awesome. I'm absolutely pumped for Sydney's away day there this season, and I'm sure Adelaide fans, as well as anyone that's going to travel there, is excited to see the new Cooper's Stadium. And you really not lost, but the atmosphere was clearly less at Cooper's Stadium when that stand wasn't in action last season. So, yeah, as I said, it's good to see that back in action. And I think that Adelaide home games are going to be far more enjoyable than they were last year. Sydney FC are leaving the road of random home grounds behind. No more Cochrane, no more Leichhardt, no more wherever the fuck else we were going to... We were going to play at Wynn Stadium in Brookvale at one point as well. Thank fuck we didn't do that. But yeah, we're back at Moore Park. I've been to the stadium for the Matildas game, and there was like a 1 out of 10 atmosphere there, which is incredible for women's fans. So when Sydney actually get there, it should be awesome. I'm kind of worried about the victory game because obviously you're going to get a lot of people turning up that don't give a shit and are just there to like ironically watch Nanny and shit. But I feel like once we get into the stride of, you know, going there week in, week out, and it's kind of not bare bones, but it's not the complete bandwagon there, it's going to be an awesome atmosphere. It's a nice open stadium. It's very pleasant to be around and walk around the concourse and take a piss at. So, yeah, it's good that Sydney are back there, and I'm sure that's going to be a lot of, you know, travelling fans away day that they want to go to this season. Personally, mine's Cooper's because I'm going to the home games every week anyway. Amy Park has currently 3 trophy-winning teams from last season playing out of it. They've got a top marquee in Lewis Nani playing at Amy Park, which is going to be good. It's a perfect footballing ground. It's got the 2 single-level terraces, which I don't think are anywhere else in Australian football. I might be wrong, but there's no proper terrace like there is at Amy Park. And hopefully for the league's sake, I don't give a fuck as a Sydney fan, but hopefully for the league's sake, there'll be 3 active supports absolutely rocking around Amy Park, some good players, some, you know, title contenders knocking the ball around, and, you know, just good vibes everywhere and all of that shit. But yeah, Amy Park, I mean, I know Western United are taking some games to like Mars Stadium, potentially Geelong, potentially Tassie, but they're playing most of their games out of Amy Park. And while I still detest them as a club and think that they're going to get terrible attendances despite their league win last season, it's good to see them playing at Amy Park because they've been a shit show so far, and playing at Amy Park isn't sustainable. It's pretty pathetic, and I think that if they can't sort their stadium out or sort out an actual roadmap for when they're going to be in their stadium, they should be kicked out of the league. But Amy Park's a nice stadium, and of course you've got the 2 actual clubs in Melbourne as well playing there. I think I kind of trot over and repeated the same information there, but either way, Amy Park, lovely stadium, good teams, sometimes fans. It's great. Wellington. Let's just move on to Wellington. They're going to be playing their full home season out of New Zealand this year. That's almost guaranteed. And I'm actually really happy for that. I mean, it's uncomfortably close to as happy as I am returning to Moore Park, because seeing Wellington play at Sky Stadium in Wellington is fucking incredible. I can't wait to do the away day. I really hope I can do it. It's actually quite expensive, so that would be the one that I'd cut out if I needed to cut an away day out this season. But I'm almost certain I'm going to go to that. And I mean, even if I don't go, I love watching Wellington home games on TV because you get the Sky coverage, and Sky just do something that Australian coverage can't do. They blend like showing the fans the voice. I mean, what's his name? Jason Pine? Chris Pine's the fucking meme guy right now. Jason Pine, best commentator in the league by a fucking million. And yeah, they just do something with the coverage on Sky that makes it enjoyable to watch Wellington football. I'm sure it's also going to be great for people that actually live in Wellington and New Zealand and support the club, a bit more so than me watching it on my lovely big television. But yeah, Wellington going back, another, you know, phenomenal home ground involved in the league this season. Brisbane are taking a few games back to Suncorp, which is good because Redcliffe's a shithole, and I think it's really damaging their club. Obviously, I'm not the one to talk about it. There's Brisbane fans that can talk about it, but Redcliffe has been shit and was proper bottom level garbage last season. I mean, at least on the telly, when I went, it was a fucking disgrace. Brisbane are bigger than that, and I'm glad that they're taking their games back to Brisbane. Like, how is Redcliffe Brisbane? It's not Brisbane. Like, they need to stop playing there. It's only a few games, but at least they're, you know, testing the water again with Suncorp. Central Coast are running like the cheapest season tickets in the world for their lovely stadium. I think it's under $110 for a full season of general admission or active support season ticket, which is just incredible value. I mean, like, people from North Sydney should be getting those, because I mean, it's just an amazing deal. Not really, but I mean, if they want to. But, like, I could see that enticing people from Sydney because, you know, if you live a distance away from the main stadiums, Campbelltown, Moore Park and Combank, then why wouldn't you go Central Coast if you can get to that, like, in a similar amount of time? Because it's cheaper. It's a lovely stadium. It's quite sizable. Yeah, I don't know. Either way, I think Central Coast, they're running a good season ticket deal, and obviously they've got a good stadium. MacArthur, I know it's a bit of a lull, but they're in the FA Cup final or Australia Cup final, and this could potentially be a boost that they need to finally get their support and their club on track off field. So if they win that, or even this run, hopefully that inspires some people of Southwest Sydney to get behind MacArthur, and they could potentially have a nice stadium and atmosphere and everything this season. And then touching on Wanderers, Combank's a decent stadium, 7, 8 out of 10. There's obviously the capability to have an atmosphere there. And while I really don't give a fuck, I actively want Wanderers to fail. It's also undeniable that a good Wanderers and a good Wanderers support is good for the league. So while I don't think it's going to happen because they're going to be terrible again and their fans are going to lose their fucking minds, there's always the potential of a Wanderers resurgence. And if we see all of this happen in the league, all those bouncing stadiums, the accessibility of, you know, decent away days and solid scheduling, we could be in for a good season. Obviously, this is me just being positive, but yeah, we've got some fantastic off-field things going on with the scheduling and the atmospheres and the stadiums and so and so. And then I also wanted to point out that there are some great players in the A-League this season. A lot of people will talk about how the quality of the A-League has gone up, and they're fucking retard liars. The A-League is terrible. And this is me being positive. The A-League quality has dropped significantly, and anyone that tells you otherwise is a fucking gimp. But there are some exciting players in the league. First of all, Nanny for victory. We said it with Sturridge last year, so we'll see how it goes. But if you're in Melbourne watching the A-League on TV or whatever, if Victory are coming to you, you're going to get to see a, you know, really high-level player in Nanny. And I don't hope he does well as a Sydney fan. I'd be fine with his leg getting snapped game 1. But, you know, he'll be entertaining, most likely. You got Craig Goodwin at Adelaide. It's a local lad playing for a spot at the World Cup for his fucking team. I mean, I'm sure he didn't grow up supporting Adelaide, but local lad, peak of his career, absolutely crushing it for Adelaide. I detest his head, but he's an awesome player to watch and potentially one of the best players in the A-League this season. Segacic for Sydney, 4 goal contributions in the Cup. And he really looks kind of outside the mold of what you'd expect from a young player breaking into the A-League. So Segacic would absolutely be a player I'd highlight. Same way I've highlighted Neuenhoff, Yazbek, Paddy Wood in the past, Charles Lokalingoi. They're all so good. No, but Segacic is different. It's fucking Segacic season, cunts. And I think he's going to be a very entertaining watch. We've also got the possibility of Jamie Maclaren for Melbourne City becoming the top goal scorer of the A-League of all time. He needs 22 goals, I think, this season to become the top scorer ever and displace Bessart Berisha, which is very possible. So that's an exciting storyline. And, you know, while he's not the most exciting player, it's great to see him play in the A-League because he's an elite finisher. And he's also playing for a spot at the World Cup, which, you know, exciting. You've got MacArthur bringing Daniel Arzani back to Australia, where he could finally live up to his much hype potential of being an average A-League player. You can't really get much higher than that. He's fucking terrible on a world stage. But, you know, he could be average in the A-League. And I think that's exciting for a lot of people that overhyped him. You're welcome to put the apologies in the comments because he has turned out to be crap, like I said. But, yeah, Daniel Arzani, he could become an average A-League player. And that's exciting to idiots. So, that's something. Charlie Austin for Brisbane. I like Charlie Austin. I think I said this before he had signed or just after he had signed. I I was super excited for Charlie Austin, and he has exceeded the potential without playing a very competitive game. They did beat Adelaide, but then they got knocked out by an NPL side. So, look, I don't know if Charlie Austin's going to be good on the field, but he's come in, he's played the role of the villain in the cup. He's really taken to Australian football. He's always active on social media along with his wife, and it's pretty funny to, watch him post shit, trying Tim Tams and all that. So, yeah, he's absolutely playing the role of a marquee well, and he's looked talented when I've watched him. So I think that Austin's going to be an exciting player to keep an eye on this season. I don't think Brisbane are going to be winning the league or nothing. A lot of people, I think, might overhype Brisbane, or would have been after they beat Adelaide, but I don't think Brisbane will be that good. But they're in for a run at finals, and I think Charlie Austin, coming from England, a top level in one of the top levels in England, second top, to not only just play for Brisbane but also to potentially lead them to success is absolutely fantastic. And there's more to mention. I mean, like, Wanderers signed some washed marquee for the memes, and he's not really going to do anything. But if you like shit posting on the internet, Wanderers signed a guy for you. I'm sure there's some other standouts in other places. Botic for Western United. I don't know what he'll do this season, but if Prijovic isn't going to play and Dylan Wenzel-Halls is normal for him, then Botic is going to need to step up as a striker, and that could be fun. I mean, I'm just remembering his chip against Western United. That was so fucking sexual. But yeah, those are the positives going into this A-League season. I'm sure there's more. Oh yeah, here's another positive. Fucking me, making A-League videos. You don't have that. Fuck the Prem. Watch the A-League for me. No. Those are legit some of the positives that there are for the A-League this season. The scheduling and, access to matches has been greatly increased, and I think that that's only going to strengthen the fans that have stuck with the league, and potentially also help with expanding the league to new fan bases. I think that a lot of the grounds, a lot of the situations at clubs that we're going to see this season are quite exciting. That stadium segment bit that I did in this video, it wasn't just about the stadiums. Obviously, Coopers has got an upgrade. Moore Park's got a little bit of a facelift that took 4 years for some. But obviously, Amy Park, it's always bouncing, or almost always bouncing. And there's plenty of other good stadiums. I hope for the league's sake, Perth can get back to HBF Park, because it's a top stadium. And to see the Shed rocking in the A-League it's necessary. And I hope that they can get back in as soon as possible, and bring their active support and just supporters in general to the league, because it'll suck if Perth have to spend another season on the road. I don't want to get too in depth with that shit. That's getting into a negative territory, but yeah, I think there's some good situations going on at clubs off the field at the moment. And yeah, there's some great players on the field as well. So matches have become more accessible. Great off-field situations, or at least better off-field situations at a lot of the clubs, and some fantastic players on the field that are going to be entertaining to follow throughout the season. Those are the positives for the A-League this season. Let me know yours, but I'm absolutely hyped. I'll probably talk about some negatives in the lead up to the season as well, because as I said at the start of the vid, there are a lot of negatives. You should be criticizing the APL and the FA, because there's been a lot of failures, and fans are constantly treated like shit. But it's okay to recognize the positives, not for their sake, but for ours. So thanks for watching.